Now let's discuss the important characteristics of a good question paper. A good question paper needs to satisfy some important criteria. We'll be discussing these criteria one after another. The first and foremost, the criteria which a question paper has to satisfy is validity. The validity is nothing but the truthfulness of the measurement. That is, a test has to measure exactly what it intends to measure. For example, if my objective is that the student should be able to tune an engine after the instruction, if I ask him to write a beautiful the diagram of an engine, he can write a beautiful diagram and he will get marks for that. But that test is not valid because the test does not measure what it intends to measure. So that's the first and foremost the characteristic of a test. And second characteristic is the reliability or the trustworthiness of measurement. That means there should be consistency in the measurement of the test, consistency with respect to the time, consistency with respect to the multiple forms of the test, consistency with respect to the internal consistency of the test. These things we'll be discussing a little later. And the third important characteristic of any test is its objectivity. There should be one and only one score for a particular the answer paper irrespective of the valuer. That means whoever values the question paper, the scores allotted should be same. That is what we call the objectivity of the question paper. We say the multiple choice questions are objective questions. That is because whoever the evaluates, the same score will be allotted. Fill in the blank. The Similarly, match the following. These are the objective types of tests. And the fourth quality of any test is its usability. This usability is its practical value. In spite of other the three characteristics, if the test is too long, it is very difficult to administer in the given situation. That becomes unusable. So this usability is the ease which the test can be administered, the ease which it can be measured, it can be evaluated and interpreted. So this should be involve the minimum amount of time, cost and effort. That refers to usability of the test. These are the four the most important characteristics of any test. Now let's come to the validity of the test. As we have already seen, the validity refers to the ability of the test to measure what it intends to measure. That means what are the objectives, what are the intended learning outcomes, exactly those things are to be valued by the test. The ability of the test to measure exactly that what it intends to measure is the validity of the test. There are two types of validities. One is known as content validity, other one is known as a context the validity. So the content validity means there will be a lot of content in a particular course. There should be proper sampling of the content in the course. That is, the the test should test a representative sample of the content of the test. So this representative sampling involves that the all parts of the test, all parts of the content are tested through a representative sample. And the second is we have got the different abilities to be tested, right from the remembering to the creating as per the Bloom's taxonomy. So that means different abilities, different constructs are to be measured, and how the representatively it measures the content, the construct or the mental abilities of the student with respect to the content. This is what is known as the construct validity. This validity should involve both the content validity as well as construct the validity. The second important quality of any test is its reliability. So that means the test has to be reliable. By reliable, what we mean is the consistency of measurement. The test should consistently give the same score. So that is the reliability refers to the consistency of measurement. So there are different types of consistency. So one of the consistency is the test retest the reliability. So that is, if I administered a test today and if I administered the test tomorrow without any the intervention in between, this should give the same result. That means across the time, if I measure, if I they conduct the same test to the same population, it should give the similar the scores. That means the with respect to the time, the score should remain constant. This is usually done by test retest the reliability. That means you administer a test at a particular time, then administer it at a future date and time, and if the scores are same, it has got test retest reliability. But these days, the we use the parallel forms of test. That means the test is done using different forms which should be equivalent to one another. Now it's a question of the on-demand examination. We'll have a large number of the questions. When a student wants to answer a question, the question paper will be generated from the database, and the student will be given the test. When the next student comes, it will generate a different set of question paper, and the question will be given. But these should be the parallel forms, and with respect to the content, with respect to the abilities, with respect to the difficulty levels, these questions should be same. So that is the form 1 and form 2, or form A and form 2 should be equivalent to one another. This is the consistency across forms. Next is the internal consistency. So that means the internally each and every score should they have a correlation with the final score of the question paper. For this, traditionally what is done is a test retest reliability. You conduct a test, then you segregate, convert it into two questions, two tests. You select all the odd typed items and make one test. All the even test items make the second test. Now we have got the two tests for the population. Now what you have to do is you have to compare the score. We have to compare the score obtained by a particular the student in these two tests. So that means we should correlate the scores of all students with respect to the two halves of the test. And if the scores are same, we have what is known as the internal consistency. Now these days, what is applied is we use computer for each and every time. So because the computers are used, it is easy to it's easy to find your internal consistency. Different parameters are used. One is what is known as the Cronbach's alpha. This is the most popular the measure of internal consistency.